Hello and welcome. Okay. Hi, this is Raquel with Paints and Glitter. I'm just coming along live and I'm going to be doing some crafting, so I turned on my camera. And if any crafty people want to join along and watch while I craft, then you're welcome to be here. Thank you so much for joining along if you do. So the first thing that I'm going to do is just share this little goodie here. Hello, Sam. I'm waiting on my little phone over here to catch up on the chat. So let's see here. Hi, Regina. Hi, Tanya. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, you're still at work, Sam. So what I'm doing is the second version of this absolutely adorable little box, the little advent box. So most of you will already know this, but Karen was making the box this morning that I'm going to be making right now. And yeah, this week has been so much fun. Oh my gosh. And just wait till tomorrow. Oh. So what I wanted to do is, and let me give you a little bit of, I guess, backstory, right? I did not get this set. When did I get this? So I'm a little bit fuzzy on time because I'm running on like 4 hours sleep. I did not get this set as, you know, early as other team members did. So bears repeating, of course, that not everybody can get things done at the same time if you don't have items in your hands, right? Yes, thank you so much, Sam. Woo woo. Yeah, I'm super excited to be on the team. Oh my gosh, I'm pinching myself. And I'm gonna cut as I speak because if not, I'll just stand here doing all this stuff and not do anything. So I got this. I know today in my brain, I think it's, what's today, Thursday, right? I got this on Tuesday. Yeah, I got this on Tuesday, and then I made the little gingerbread. Oh, let me show you the gingerbread house, because I know you guys are going to want to see that, right? Because it's one thing to see it, you know, on the videos, like I always say, but it's another thing to kind of be able to get the up close and personal peek at it, right? That you can actually ask questions and all that good stuff. So I do apologize if I get any glare, but I know that this camera is a pretty decent camera. So look at guys, how cute. And I thought of Sam when I saw this paper in my stash. I had Sam on the brain, let me tell you. Because, oh, thank you so much, sweetie. Because I know she likes red. She likes those vibrant colors. And sadly, I only had one piece of this paper. It was all gone. So yeah, it is super duper cute. And if you grab this set, if you haven't, you want it. if you grabbed it, I just want to let you know a little tidbit, a little tip, because I love sharing tips because that's how I learn, right? These little guys right here, they're not your friends. They're sweet, they're adorable, they're gorgeous. I absolutely love them, but they're not going to be friendly to you. So here's how you're going to get around this. This is what I did. I took my pearlescent card, which I have a piece right here. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend Tonic in any way. I just think, you know, I like to keep it real, as we say. So you're gonna grab your pearlescent, shiny, pretty card like this, right? I took the cream pearlescent card from Tonic. Look at how that shines. I mean, are you kidding me? It's like a wedding dress, right? And then you're gonna place it on top of your craft card, right? And then run it through your machine. And what's gonna end up happening is you can pop out his little belly, pop out his little hands and feet, and then that little brown piece of paper is gonna stay in there, and you don't have to worry about layering on top, if you know what I mean. So if you want to, you can put your double-sided adhesive on the back of that pearlescent card, lay it on top of the brown, do what I just said, run it through all together now, and then you can pop out the little pieces. You know what I mean? I think that's a better way of doing it. Or if you want to do, I don't know. I guess that's the only tip I can give you on that one. But I think it would be a better way to go about it, because if not, okay, so let me give you an idea of size. And this is why I say it. Not everyone has nimble fingers. And I'm here to help. That's my hope, right? Is that you guys watch my videos and you take away a little tip that maybe you might not have heard of, where it's going to help you when you do your crafting. And that way you end up not frustrated, but happy that you achieved something that, you know, makes you happy, because that's the whole point, right? So look at the size, all right? So those are my little tweezers, and look at the size of Ginger Man right here, right? And that's why I'm giving you the tip, all right? And then that's all I'm gonna say about that. But have a blessed day, Sam. Thank you for being here. I went live. They're gonna see, well, they might not see you. My husband just got home. He's saying hi, guys. Hi, Rita Maria. Welcome, sweetie. Oh, from Guatemala. Bienvenida, Rita. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, so it's been a lot of fun, and I just wanted to give you that tip. And then this little guy right here that goes on the roof, I recommend you use hot glue for that, so that you don't frustrate yourself, but because of the curve. That's, you know, the only other little tip there. But I just wanted to let you know also, if you want to have little shiny bits like that, what I did is I put the glitter drop in there while I only had the brown layer on there. And once that glitter drop was dry, then I placed the cream layer on top. That's another way that you can go ahead and do your little embellishments, and it's gonna make it look really nice and neat because you staggered that other piece of paper on top. And in here there's vellum, so you can put a little tea light in there. How sweet is that, right? And then once the gift is open, right, because that's the whole idea, then whoever you're giving this to can just put some little flameless candles in there. And I thought I had one in this room. Who knows where it's landed? I think it might be in the windmill. Give me a second. Yep, it's in the windmill. All right. Okay, so I got so much caffeine in my system. All right, so you put one of, you know, maybe one or two of these little guys in there, right? And mine's probably dead. Yeah, I think I killed it. Oh, so sorry, guys. I was gonna give you the whole effect and wow, 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 right? Nope, I need a new battery. But anyway, you know, you can get these here in the US in the dollar store. Just put one of those little guys in there, pretend it's on, and then, oh, yay, everyone screams, hurrah, because the little windows will open up like that. Okay? Hi, Mama Pillow. Thank you for being here. Gracias, Rita. De eso se trata. Me encanta en mis videos dar explicaciones que ayuden a las personas que estén viendo, porque el contenido varía dependiendo de la persona que esté haciendo la manualidad. Entonces yo espero que en mi canal ustedes puedan venir aquí, se sientan cómodos, aprendan un poquito, o si no, si tienen preguntas, con mucho gusto, perdón, yo les contesto si me mandan un correo electrónico a PaintsandGlitter@gmail.com y yo les contesto con mucho cariño, ¿ok? But thank you. This is a bilingual channel, by the way. And you guys know I get a little messy, but I get it done. All right, so I'm gonna keep cutting because I want to do the little house. And here's the other, or I mean the little tree. What am I saying? I want to do the little tree because in the video that I released this morning at the crack-a-lack of dawn, in that video I sped up the tree portion, because if not, there would not have been a video. And I know that that's not everyone's cup of tea, but you see what I'm doing here? I've got my really pretty paper there, and I'm just kind of staggering that little die because that's going to be the one that's going to decorate my tree. And you're only going to need 6 of these for the side of the tree. And I'm going to show you the other options in just a second, but we'll get that done. So that little house, by the way, if you're interested, scroll back up to the top of this chat, and that's the only favor I'm going to ask you is that if you do like any of the items that you see, click on my link. Even if you don't shop today, if you're going to shop tomorrow because you want to wait and bundle all your purchases, just click on my link anyway and then come back if it doesn't open in a new window, and then that way you can support my channel, because I would love for you to do that. You know, I'll keep bringing you content. You guys can ask me questions. I'll try to keep it as, you know, lighthearted and happy as can be. You know, this channel's not about negativity in any way, so I just want to, you know, make sure that I give you guys any kind of pointers that maybe you might miss if you watch a video, especially when they're sped up like that. So I've got 4 so far, and I need 2 more. So I'm gonna try to get 2 more out of this piece of paper. I don't know if it'll happen, but we'll see. If not, I have more. I'm not gonna worry about it. Yeah, I'm just gonna use another piece of paper. So I'm just gonna. It's like serving pizza at a party, and you're like, oh no, someone just showed up. Can we get another slice? That's how I look at paper. Trying to fit a little more in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and do 1, and then I don't think I'm gonna get another. Nope. So let's toss that aside and grab another one. By the way, this paper that you see here that I'm using is a stunning shade of green, and that's available in this little pack here. Okay, so if you're not a person who likes green, you can still use it to make the other colors in your projects stand out. So for instance, on here you could use, if you don't like this green, for instance, you could use that pearlescent color that I was sharing with you. You could substitute that color for this pearl. See what I mean? And then still get a really beautiful project. But then if you use the green, as you see here, and this one's, I think it's called Sprite. Let me see here. This is another green. Water Sprite. That's my favorite pew pew paper. I love it. Or one of them, right? They're all my favorite. But when you use that in conjunction with gold, for instance, it's a really beautiful complementary color. And green is a neutral, so it complements every other color in the rainbow. So it's really nice to put it with the gold. It's nice to put it with tan, with brown, with red, with pink. If you like to craft with pink, for instance, green is a really beautiful color because, as we all know, look at a flower. It has green leaves 99.9% of the time. And yet when you receive a bouquet and someone hands it to you, you don't say, oh, I hate the leaves in that bouquet. You say, wow, what beautiful flowers. And that's because those other colors are going to help, you know, they're going to pop. And so this one comes with that gorgeous mirror, the satin one, which is what I'm using right now, and that is called Flourishing Green. The satin one is, or the mirror one, sorry, is Holly Green. Then there's Smooth Mint, which is this one. That's the other one that I used in here. So that's this uppermost layer, is that Smooth Mint there. And then the last one in this pack is Emerald Green, and that's like your super duper traditional Christmas green color. Okay, so they're all beautiful though, and like I said, if you don't like green, don't shy away from it too much, because you'll be surprised how it helps your projects stand out. So I just need 1 more of these, and I think, I don't know if I have the base pieces yet, guys, but I'll get to it. And I had a little bit of time, so I figured, you know what? I need to complete this house because I want to know what it looks like. Because I only got a chance to make that little one, right? So I wanted to come back and make the big one, and that's why I'm here. Nena, no, yo no duermo. ¿Quién duerme? ¿Quién tiene tiempo para dormir? Hi, Carolyn. Carolyn knows. She was texting me yesterday, and I'm all delirious answering, I don't know. I felt so horrible. I was like, I'm being so rude, but I genuinely, I could not, estaba visca, nena, visca. And by the way, that means cross-eyed. My eyes are all like little, trying to see the phone. I was trying to answer. I was chatting with Carolyn and texting and then trying to edit at the same time. Let me tell you guys, both sides of my brain were like, girl, make up your mind. What are you doing? Oh my gosh. And then I woke up at, what time was it? I don't even know. I think it was 3 o'clock in the morning or something like that. Because because I'm a type A personality and I'm like, what if I did it wrong? I better double check. Those are the behind the scene moments that nobody ever sees, right? Okay, so I need a little base. I completely forgot. Oh, figures. Okay, I'm gonna double up my paper and I'm gonna cut 6 of these because we're gonna need that. But I promise you it'll be painless. But that's what we do, right? Anyone who, you know, I think any woman knows that. That's how it goes. That is just how it goes. You do 50 million things at once. You hope everyone lands standing. All right, so this is going to be an 1.5 inches wide. And what I'm going to do is double up the paper. And the reason I'm going to show you guys the tree that I did make. I forgot about that. You might want to see the finished product before you commit to this live, right? So let me grab that real quick. Here it is. It's so cute. Now, silly me, I didn't even think of this. This is actually a box. Look at. I don't know how that happened. Oh gosh. But this is actually a box, and you can change the little topper, so you can do a little star. I went with the little angel because I thought that was beautiful. That's how I like to decorate my tree. Put a little angel on top. But your girl was in a rush, so you know I had to use hot glue to finish this, and because of that, that explains the fact that I thought it would be a genuine or genius idea to cover it with the little micro beads. So why not? The little angel, sweetie, comes with a set. So let me show you. Okay, so, and pardon this, I've been crafting. There's 2 stars. So there's, oh no, I think I just flung something. Oh man. I think I just flung a die and I don't know where it landed. Oh, I hope it wasn't important. I'll find it later, but that's what happens. I just ordered, so don't tell my husband, I just ordered some magnets. I hope he doesn't hear me. Okay, so here are your options. Well, this is a wreath, by the way, which I think I used on the front, didn't I? Nope. Gosh. I thought I had. I cut it and I used it on something. I don't know. Oh, here it is. Okay. I did cut it. All right, so that's what the wreath looks like. Camera's over here. So what the wreath looks like, and I did cut that in gold there for this house. And then here are your options for the top of your tree. If you want to put a little bow on it, you can. You can do the little angel, and then the traditional star, if you will, and then this more simple 5-sided star, okay? So let me put these back over here. Whoosh. Keep going back and forth. So then there's all sorts of little things here. There's little panels. The most you're gonna probably see right off the bat are the different options that you have for the little doors. And what I think was genius this time around with Tonic is that for the little doors of your little Advent house. So let's refer to this real quick. Hi Eve, thank you for being here, sweetie. For the little doors, you have your options of how to decorate the front, but then that little base piece, which in this case I just kind of cut so that I could stagger it there, but that base piece here that does the outside of this, you get 4 for this one, and then you get how many was for the other one? 3, 6, 7, 8. So you get the other 8 as well. So a total of 12 dies just to make that, okay? And here's some of them, by the way. So that way you know what I mean. Like you don't have to do 2 dies to do repetitive cutting. You do, you know, all 12 on one piece of paper, get it cut all at once, and that will make it a whole lot easier. And I love it when they think of those things, because sometimes they can't fit all that detail in one set. And truly, the way that I look at it is that these are 2 sets in one. I wouldn't refer to this as one set if I were them, because there is so much. So if I can get my mind around, or my act together here, I shouldn't even be using that, but I had some painter's tape that I was using for something else and it was on my table, so I just grabbed that to keep that on there. But let me go ahead and cut 6 of these, and then we can do the sides of that base. And then I'll do the sides of the tree, which I thought I had already cut, and I did not, so I do apologize. Don't mean to take up so much time. Yes, it's so wonderful to interchange them. That I think is so much fun. And for instance, a little gingerbread man that I was referring to earlier will fit comfortably on the front of those little doors also. So if you want to do a gingerbread theme house and you happen to have the other dies, or calendar I should say, and you want to use the other dies, you will be able to do that. Because the details are small enough. Now, never mind my perfectionism. I should never even double up, because it's just, I spend too much time trying to aim at the center of the paper, and I should just be cutting. You probably, I don't know if you could even see what I was doing. I think you can. But yeah, I think that's when I have the most fun, is when I interchange dies. And while I'm cutting this, you guys, from that little house die set, look, I made this one too. So let me just leave that there so you guys can see it. So that little card was made just by using a couple of those layers. And you can see how different it looks. That doesn't say Christmas in any way whatsoever. In fact, you could give that to, for instance, a new couple that maybe just bought their first home, or something like that. Maybe a friend that's had to move to a new location. Then of course you can change the sentiment for whichever one you like. But everything that you see there was included in that one die set. And that came with stencils, which I used to color the sides of the house. And I also used to emboss the roof. And if you don't know which house I'm referring to, it's the one that was released just 2 days ago. 2, 4, I need 2 more. So yeah, that was the little, I'm blanking, sorry guys, the word escaped me, but it's the little house. Because I have to remember, the one from today was the calendar. A couple days ago was the house. The leaves, yeah, I wanted it to look like a pretty little garden, that maybe you're looking toward the front or side of a house, and then they have a pretty garden outside. I was thinking of my own yard, you know. We have this beautiful tree in the front, and it's Japanese maple, and all the little leaves, like you can sit underneath it, and you get this nice shadow effect. And it just makes me happy. So I was inspired by that, and I went ahead and used it for that little card. Now I'm almost there, guys. I'm gonna cut now. I'm gonna explain the layers, of course. I'm going to cut the actual tree portion now. I've already cut the sides that are gonna go with the base, right? And I've cut the little layers that are gonna go on top. So everything in multiples of 6. Now we'll do 6 of these. And I thought I had that cut out already. I don't know why. But bear with me and I'll grab a green piece of paper. I'm going to grab a different green here. I just happen to have this paper that has really pretty texture, and we're just gonna call it contraband. Shh, don't tell anyone, because I'm gonna show you something else. So here's how I typically do it. I measure out my little die, 2.5 inches by, what is that? I'm gonna go for 4. So let's do that first. And then, oh, I don't have a blade. All right, be right back. Probably chuck that across the room too. 4. Got 4, and I need 2 more. Okay, now that I have these, I can start cutting that. And let me see here. What are you getting ready for, Eve? Are you going to work this late? Although I think you're on the other coast side of the country, are you? Oh my gosh, this is just barely gonna make it. I should have done 4 1/4, or I mean 3 inches wide. We'll see what happens. I hope I don't have to cut it again. Kind of cutting it close on the edges here, so let me see. Whew, I made it. Okay, thank God. All right, so we've got 2. And by the way, these dies cut very beautifully. This morning, some of the viewers were asking, will it cut through the gray board? Because Tonic does sell gray board, which is wonderful for 3D makes. So that way you can have a really nice, substantial project. And I'm happy to say that yes, it does. And I'm going to show you that shortly, because I did use my dies to cut through the gray board. Now, just like anything else, you're going to want to run it through your machine more than once, just to be on the safe side. Use your low tack tape so that it doesn't, your die doesn't shift. So I'm doing here, it does come in handy. And then that way, when you run it twice, it doesn't stagger on your project, and then that way you're going to give that blade an opportunity to really kind of sink its teeth in. And what I do is that I'll run it through in one direction and then shift the plates and run it through again, and that's usually good enough. So now that I've got all the pieces to this tree, let's get this going. And I need my bone folder, so I'm gonna grab that as well. And let me see, I have my glue gun. Yes, it's so cheap. I can't believe it. It is, Mama Pillow. It's 80 cents and it's 222 pound in weight. So it is sturdy enough for any kind of project that you will be making with paper. So if you need to pick that up, now would be a wonderful time to do it, because if you are a subscriber to Tonic, you're going to get 10% off of that, right? And then on top of that, if you, depending on the tier of purchase that you make, you're going to get another discount and a free gift. So come on now. Click on my links. Click on my links is what I'm going to say to you. So I'm going to score these, and you guys know that's just part of my, I'm just having fun here. But I really think that, you know, it's a bargain. Where are you going to go and pay 80 cents for gray board? And it's not just one piece, because normally, for instance, here, if you go to a box store, that's what you would pay for one piece of gray board. And then Tonic's got a pack of them. And I think, yes, it's right here. So this is what it looks like. This is what we're talking about, by the way. So it looks like that. It's A4 in size, and you get 5 sheets of it. and that's plenty. I did cut into it already, and using, I think I used 2 pieces of it for the one box that I'll be making today, and I don't think that's bad at all. And I'm just being gentle here, guys, because this does have a very fine little tip there, but sometimes it helps to just take that little bone folder and kind of push against it. And whatever little errors I make, if you've ever seen this channel before, you know I will cover it up with Nuvo Drops or beads or whatever, glitter. So yeah, but Mama Pillow, thank you for mentioning that, because yeah, I saw it on the page and I was like, wait, what? I thought it was a typo, honestly. And then of course with the bundles that are being released this week, they are wonderful if you have never tried the mousses or the sprays, all that's available, for instance, from the Nuvo line. Now's a good time to give it a try and see what that's all about if you're new to it. And if you're not new to it, then you already know how wonderful it is and how fun it is to play with too. So I see 11 people here. I would absolutely love it if 11 people would give me a thumbs up today. And of course, if you are new, go ahead and hit that subscription button and the notification bell. And when I upload a new tutorial or a new fun live video, you're going to be notified. And then you can join in if you happen to have a question that day. And I am privy to the information, and I'll be happy to share. And I'm not offended if you just pop in, say hi, and leave, just like our friend Sam. You know, sometimes she's in between patients. So yeah, this is the little bit of kind of groundwork that you have to do when you're creating 3D projects. And I know it's a little bit time consuming, but when you see the end result, it makes you happy inside to know that you worked on something and that the recipient appreciated it, or that you put a smile on someone's face. It's fun. Okay, so we've got those ready to go. Then we're gonna I'm just gonna fold these edges, not so gingerly, because these are just flat lines. But I'll just get those started. And I wasn't home, guys, otherwise I would have had this done a long time ago. I just got home myself. And I was like, you know what? I already cut out all those papers. Obviously I didn't have time to include that in the video. And I figured I'm gonna go live. Otherwise I'd be standing here with no one. Just, you know, obviously hubby in the background. He just got home a little bit ago. But he's not going to stand here and watch me craft, because that would be weird. I see 12 people are here. Hello, hello. What a nice crowd. What time is it? 3 o'clock. Okay, I think 3 o'clock on a Thursday is when I should be coming along doing a live. Okay, so let's put our little glue here first. And what we're going to do is, I did fold these so that I know that they're going to help me create the base. However, to do the gluing, it'll be a little bit easier if I just flatten it out a little bit. And then, yes, Mama Pillow, that is super duper clever, guys. And she's mentioning using, I've got glitter on me. She's mentioning using the sprays to cover up any boo-boos. Absolutely. I do that with the drops all the time. I did it on that little card that I shared with you, in fact. And another thing is that you can water down the Nuvo products. You can add water to them, put them on your glass mat like this, and when you do that, I'm gonna do this. When you do that, you can use them with a paintbrush. That's how I often use the Nuvo products. and it makes life a whole lot easier. You see what I mean? Because you can get into the details, which I'm a little bit obsessed with. just a little bit obsessive about detail. Okay, come on, get on there. This is like a little merry-go-round, and everyone needs to get in there so that we can go around. Come on, baby. See, now this takes a moment to tack on, but it'll get there. And that's what's good about the adhesive, right? Now I just put a little hairline bit of it, not too much. And if it pops off, I might need a little bit more glue, but I think pressure helps there. Yep, another one. Need to be patient. Don't try to go as fast as I do, that's all. And this one here, boom. All right, now I'm going to burnish while everyone's on there. Come on now. Trying to get them all to join in. Come on. Stay. Okay. I don't know if you talk to your paper, but I do. Okay. I'm gonna turn it around. Burnish. Okay, now we're in business. Okay, so while that's drying, you can apply pressure, and that's all going to stick very nicely. And let me read here really quick. Anne's Crafts is saying, to help my little machine stick to my glass mat, I give the bottom a light spritz of water. Oh yeah, water is a wonderful, what is that called? I remember in chemistry, hydro something bond. I can't think of the word right now, but yeah, it's an excellent idea, because that one's got a little lever for a little suction. But absolutely. Okay, now I'm going to be a little bit more careful here, because I'm adhering these at a little bit of an angle. Okay, so sometimes you can get away with being a tad bit ruthless, right? But not always, because you want a nice finished piece, so you can't rush through everything as much as we would like to. I think we get a little bit spoiled also when we see videos that are sped up all the time. It can get your mind in kind of like a mindset of hurry up, get it done, right? And I caught myself recently doing that. I was listening to someone and I was like, just get to the point. And then I felt so horrible, because in my head I was like, whoa, wait a minute, girl. Why are you behaving like that? Now, I didn't say it out loud, but I was thinking it. And I was very, I was reminded of the fact that, you know what? Growth and learning and all of that, it takes time. It doesn't happen instantly. So crafting, for instance, can be a very therapeutic thing that you do, where you're in a room, just maybe thinking about a few things, and rushing through it is not necessarily the best way to go about it, because it's not meant to be frustrating. And I hear some rustling. Are you okay if I close that door? Yeah. Oh, hi. How are you, sweetie? I'm doing a live. You doing all right?
Yeah.
I'll be done shortly, kind of. Not really.
I'll talk to you about it.
Okay. My son just got home. All right, so I'm gonna layer these guys first, and these are gonna go all the way around, and I was going to show you the layers for that, so let me go ahead and do that. Here, 1, 2, and I think that was the one that I lost. I dropped another one. I have a suspicion it may be in my garbage. I'm gonna have to go search for it later, but I promise you there are 3. And those are 2 of the 3. So you can emboss with these. And what I had done with the other one, yeah, it's this one here. So the other one looks like this. It has the little spots there, so you can fill it in with Nuvo Drops, or you can leave them. You can add little beads if you like using micro beads. then, or I'm sorry, diamond dots. That's a great place for that. And I know it's in here somewhere, but I don't want to go digging right now. So let's emboss 3 of them and we'll alternate them. I think that's going to look cute. And just going to grab my, where did it go? I guess I'm just going to use this. Here it is. Here it went. You can reuse your low tack tape. So that's something that's wonderful, that you can just keep using the same piece until it gives out and then move on to another one. But here's the effect of that. That's what I wanted to show you, and that's what's so wonderful also about that type of paper, is that it really shows off the texture that you give it. So the dies make it super easy, because I know a lot of people are used to using embossing folders, but an embossing die is just equally as effective. And then if you want to, had you not used mirror card, if you just use regular card, then you can apply some mousse on top of that, or ink, whatever you fancy, right? And the results are really pretty. So I've got 3 of those, and I'm going to alternate. So let's do the other 3 with the swirls. Why not? Can do those. And I know I had heard a clink. When I hear that sound, I'm like, uh-oh, somebody fell. But I'm not going to go searching on a live video. Now mine moved a tiny bit. You want to be more careful than I. It moved a little bit on me. But I do have another die machine, cutting machine I should say, that has a magnet. I just moved it off my table today because I didn't have enough room. I was doing too many things. Yeah, it's shifting a little bit. I need a new piece of tape. Let's go with more tape here. And I move things around. This always happens. I move things and then I'm like, where did I put it? I know it's here. I know it's around here somewhere. But if you haven't tried the low tack tape, I highly recommend it. It's sticky enough to keep your projects on your mat and all that good stuff, but it won't ruin your paper, and I think that's just phenomenal. So I'm going to do the second one, and then there's one more of these. I hope that you guys have been enjoying, of course, you know, it goes without saying, the content that you watch this week, but are any of you big on creating or crafting for Christmas time? You guys enjoy that sort of thing? How early do you get started? I want to know. You can use, oh, that's a good question, Mama Pillow. The thing about mirror card is that it has a slight covering on it that's almost, I would call it almost plastic-like. That's what allows it to have that sheen. But let me, I don't typically use alcohol inks, but I do have alcohol markers. So let me see what that looks like real quick to answer your question. That's a very good question. So let me set that aside a second. Save my tape and move everyone in here to a little corner so I don't lose my friends, my little die pieces that I need. And I'm going to grab a piece of that card and grab a marker. This happens to be an alcohol marker, and I just want to see, can you color onto it with alcohol? So I'm going to set this aside and let it dry. Okay, because this is alcohol based. I'm already seeing the striation of that marker, and we're going to see how that dries. Something tells me it's going to, oops, sorry, I was out of frame. It's going to kind of shrink a little bit. And because of the way that it evaporates, you might not get a true color, but you see how down here, that little edge there, it's kind of shrinking, and that's just something that alcohol does, right, when it's drying on paper anyway. So let's go ahead and put these on here. Now you may want to put another layer. I'm not going to keep cutting paper because I'm going to put you guys to sleep here. So I'm just going to now adhere these first on the sides. And you can see how beautifully intricate that cut into that card with no problem whatsoever. I wasn't using a super high-tech machine or anything. But I do like monochromatic projects anyway, so this is not going to bother me whatsoever. And again, if you want to do a little bit of moussing on that, you can totally do that. I don't want to make the video too long, and that's why I didn't get that out, because if I get out the messy stuff, we'll be here for hours. And I'm gonna apply all three of these. And as you can tell, I'm only applying glue to the edges of this. That's typically how I will add something that's very intricate, unless it really is necessary to have every single piece adhered. I don't bother with that. I just, a little bit goes a long way with the glue, so long as your piece is on there. Then you can just move on to the next. Okay, there's this one. I love the stars. There's something about that that just really gets me. I think they're so pretty. If it will smear, yeah, we'll find out in a little bit. Oh, okay, you're very welcome. The stays on, now stays on ink, which I have some, that will, I think, transfer onto mirror card. The thing, as you already know, you're gonna have to walk away from it, don't touch it, leave it overnight and see how it dries. But stays on ink has another ingredient in it that's a little bit different from an alcohol marker, so that's why it works, you know, so well. All right, so I'm gonna start here, and I'm going to apply my glue on all those little notches there. I'm going to match up its little partner here, and I'm going to make sure that I'm alternating because I went through all that trouble of making two different types, right? And I'm going to go here, match up my little bits here. I've had a bit of caffeine today, guys, so I'm a little bit trembly. Let's do it like this. This is how I know. I'm like, woo, a little shaky today. Okay, there we go. I think that's going to be the best way to go about it. Do two, then I'm going to do another two. So let those dry. Do these two. And apply my glue. There's more than one way to go about these things. Match up these little guys. And then that way you get that little top. That's the portion that's going to pull if you do this with everybody all glued together at once. It's going to have that tendency to pull up here. But I'm going to do those two. These two. Apply my glue. And this, of course, comes with your set. This is not an add-on. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier, but this all comes in one set, which I think is fantastic because they didn't leave out any portion that you might wish to have to create your little village, you know, because the houses themselves, you make however you like. There's no rule that says that you have to use the dies that came in the set to create the little doors and that sort of thing. If you have other die sets that you really prefer to make little doors into things, then go ahead and use that. Now let's do these two. And the little windows, the same thing. You can just create a little village with only one little door per house. If you're not going to do the Advent calendar, you can do just a little Christmas village. Years ago I made one and it was all white and all of the windows were vellum, and I had that on top of a furniture piece in my living room, and I put little candles behind it, and I just loved the way that it looked. Or little, sorry, it was like little fairy lights. That's what I had. Oh, okay. So Anne is thinking, wow, it's so early for that. I personally don't celebrate it, but I can't believe, you know, you go into a retail store, and I know that they're way ahead of everything, right? But in my mind, I'm like, oh, like, you know, kids just got out of school and you're already pushing fall. Come on now. Give us a break. All right, so I'm pinching that, and I'm being kind of careful here. Now you might want to, if you don't have, you know, long nails, you might want to just use the very tip of your bone folder just to keep that paper from kind of scrunching up on you, or very thin edge of any kind of tool you might have, just to keep that still sharp, right? And we'll do this edge, and then we'll close it off. But here I'm talking about stop rushing things, and it's Christmas in July. I was waiting to see if anyone's gonna call me out on that and be like, you hypocrite. Yes, white and gold always looks so classy. Absolutely. And you know what's wonderful? For instance, so Rita, is it Rita Maria, or just, I don't want to offend you, so I don't know if I should call you Rita Maria or Rita or Maria, but whatever, you know, you go by. But you can do, for instance, all of these little trees, do them all in gold, because there are several cardstocks from Tonic that are different hues of gold. Just like I shared with you the greens in that pack, there's the gold one. And you can do the super glittery gold on top of the satin gold, and then do all of the little trees in gold, make several of them, and then just string them onto your Christmas decorations or your Christmas tree. If you do a wreath on the front door, it would look so beautiful. Because of course the color palette is whatever is, you know, whatever suits your fancy. All right, so we got all these guys together. Now, if you are giving this away, mentioning, for instance, Christmas decor, you may want to put a little strip of paper here in a half moon shape and really give this some reinforcement. If you're going to be hanging it from a tree, and just put your little, now is when you would put your little piece of ribbon, okay? And that way, when you close it up, you have this nice and closed. This is your now ornament, okay? And then you can glue this to the bottom for reinforcement, and then just glue it shut. That's how I would go around making the actual ornament, okay? Okay, Rita. Yeah, it is marketing. Summer crafting, yeah. I think my favorite's always Christmas, though. Hands down. Oh, another thing is, for instance, if you're going to do like a little ornament, stick a little bead on the string. You can put your gold string here, put a little bead there, and then hot glue it. And that's also going to help you have a nice sturdy top to that. I am going to take what I had cut out, which is my little angel. I'm just partial to my little angel there, and I'm going to put glue on here first. Put him in the center there. And you may want to reinforce it with hot glue, and I think that's what I'm going to do, because this little bitty guy is so he's so delicate. Okay, but he's gonna go in there. Yeah, I'm gonna go with hot glue, because if not, we'll be here all week. And just a little dollop of it. little tiny drop, not too much. Okay, we just don't want him falling over. And I don't think I had cut two. On this one I did. I just backed them up, you know, they're mirror images, so you can back them up. And this is the gold color cardstock I was referring to. That's the glitter cardstock. It's phenomenal because it doesn't flake all over the place. So it's a really nice, neat way to make all of your crafts. All right, so we want to make sure, yep, he's in good standing there. All right, so now if you want to, of course, you can add hot glue here to close this off. It's up to you. I'm going to continue with this just to hold it together. I'm going to be very gentle here when I close it off. And of course, removing any little strings that may have happened. And I might reinforce it a little bit later, but for now, I think this is pretty good. We all have stories of our Christmas trees losing an ornament. We don't want to lose the angel. Don't want him falling off. Okay. So I'm gonna pinch those little sides. And this is just about complete there. I'm gonna let that dry for a moment. And what you can do is, come on little guy, while this is drying, you can set it on the little base now. Now, obviously you can fit a little candy in there, or if you cut into the base, you can fit another little tea light in there, and this could be a little luminary, which would be fantabulous. But that was super easy to make, considering you guys saw me cut the paper and all that good stuff, right? But there's the one little tree. I think it's so pretty. And of course, you can top it off as I did there with all the little drops and beads and all that good stuff, right? So let's put that one aside and move on to the box. Thank you, Eve. Oh, I'm sorry, you're saying goodbye to Carolyn. Bye, Carolyn. Thank you for having been here. Now, on to this. I mentioned the gray board. There's piece one, that's going to be the back of your box. Piece two is the front of the box. This is as simple as that gets. Let me move this out of the way, guys, because it's going to distract me. Woohoo! I don't want to lose my dies. Okay, let's move that out of the way. Okay. Then you have the side, which I cut out in this gray card 4 times. So you use the same size die for all 4 sides, in case you missed today's earlier video. And then I did cut the gray board using that same die that I used for here, but I removed those little side tabs because I don't want to have to fold gray board, okay? It's a little bit tricky to fold it. I also cut out the layer that's going to go right on top of here. And if you use the dies, that's the wonderful thing. You don't have to measure anything. It's going to work, right? And then there's the side panels, which I'm going to glue right onto here. And I only did the sides. I didn't bother with the top and bottom. And then there are the little boxes. Okay, so let's start here with the little boxes. You're going to be cutting them using one die for the smaller ones. They look like that. So I have a few more of those to go. And then there's another die that looks like this. So when you cut it out, it has 2 portions that are longer and then the other 2 are shorter. This is for the little door of the Advent house, whereas these are kind of like the little windows. So let's get those done. I'm just gonna try to go a little bit faster here because this is kind of the type of stuff that you do. I would call this the mindless work almost, right? And fold, fold, and fold. Okay. All right, now you can put a little bead of glue here. Close that off. I like to fold mine right in half, make sure that they're meeting. And burnish, set it aside, move on to the next one, and do the same thing. All right, just kind of fold it in half, burnish. Now, of course, you want to make sure that these are nice and even, right? So while you still have time for that, make sure they're nice and even, and then burnish the other two sides. Okay. All right. Fold, glue. I still have little stars hanging out from that project. Oh, hello. Let's see here. Oh, thank you so much. So is it Toodle Taunt? Toodle Taunt? I hope I'm saying that correctly. And if I did not, I apologize. Thank you for being here and welcome. I very much appreciate the feedback. And yeah, there's a lot of love that goes into Christmas makes. I was just talking to my mom about that, you know, especially, so in my earlier years, I would teach 2-year-olds Sunday school. And so I would have a little box that was just a little shoebox. And inside of that shoebox, I had a little Bible. And I would open the box and show them, like, look at this, you know, beautiful gift that we have. And in that little box, I would have little items like a little, you know, a little toy or whatever it was that pertained to the lesson. And I just thought, you know, there was so much about that that really helped to shape the way that I see things and the way that I see other people. Because children have such a wonderful way of teaching you to keep it simple. And it was wonderful. And this kind of thing is like that. Like, other people might just see a piece of paper, but there's a lot that goes into it, especially if you're trying to just convey your love to someone, to give them something that you made by hand, that, you know, you were thinking of them when you made it and all that good stuff. I think it's wonderful. So I'm burnishing that, and if you see here, see the difference, how this one's a little bit taller, and of course that's because that's going to fit the little door. So all of these pieces now are going to fold toward you. Okay, so these are all valley folds, and this is 110 pound cardstock. I happened to make this out of a scrap piece of card that I had, so that's why it's a little bit more sturdy than the others, but easy enough. Just give it a good pinch there all the way around. That one's ready to go, and then we're going to do the same thing with these other ones that are now fully dry. Give them an opportunity to make that bond. And there we are. Give them a good pinch and you're good to go with that. And we'll just repeat that 3 more times, and then these are going to go on the back of the house to create our little windows. And you can fit quite a bit in here. I was actually very impressed by that. These are, let me think here, these are 2 inches deep. So the typical candies are given out, little caramels and all that, if that's what you're going to be gifting, then they'll fit in there nicely. Now, according to my phone, there's a problem with the server. I don't know what that means on my end, but I hope that you guys are still able to chat. I'm going to check on that in a minute. So let me know if you're able to see me. If you could just chat like, yes, we're good. Let me know, okay, guys? Because sometimes I have tricky internet on my end. And I'm hoping that I'm not disconnected. All right, so we've got all our little drawers there. Good to go with that. And we're going to stick those to the back of our little house here. Oh, and I guess I ripped it a little bit, so let me fix that real quick. There we go. Okay, so on here, one way to go about it is to place your glue on the base, so that way you know that you're not placing it on that little door that you want to be able to open. Okay, it's just one way to go about it. I think gray board might be a little bit better because it absorbs glue so quickly. So let me make sure that I place this in the right place. It's kind of like aim and fire. Gonna make sure it's on the edge. And I think I'm good. If I'm happy with it, then I'm going to burnish. Okay, and then I'm gonna verify that by opening it, giving it a peek there, and if it's showing just a tiny bit like that, I don't think that that's a problem. Because after all, we're not, you know, we're not making an architectural model. Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much for verifying that for me. Because on my end it said server error. Okay, so we're gonna keep on plugging along here. Now, I'm curious to know how many of you already picked this up. Let me know in the comments. Who took advantage of the bundles today? It's so hard to walk away. Okay. Apply your little pressure. This is a tip I gave in the other video. Flip the tool over. Make sure you take advantage of all the sides of that tool if you have it. So that way you don't have to worry about your hands so much. Oopsie, what am I doing? I said aim at the base. Let me do it this way so you guys can see. So if your hands are a little shaky, if you put the glue down first, sometimes that can be all the help you need. And you see I'm flipping, you know, rotating this, and that's to give myself the vantage point of seeing what I'm doing, because obviously, you know, if you're filming, you don't want to get your head in the camera and all that good stuff, but you do whatever works. And a little pressure there. Moving on to the next one. Now, obviously, if I started here, I now want to do the center one. So let's start with that little door panel. And I'm going to do the same thing here. Place my little piece. And what you don't want to do is do the two sides and then the center, because you might run into problems if you do that, because they're quite close to one another. Okay. Okay, and I'm going to verify the front really quickly. I think it's looking good already. Looking good, looking good, looking good. Yep. This one's a little bit close to the center, but I'm okay with that. Keep moving along. Oh, thank you, Eve. Hi, Wendy. Thank you so much, sweetie. Okay. I'm gonna place my little guy right on here. Wandy, you said you picked up this set, right? So you're gonna have a lot of fun with it. Oh my gosh, you can do so many versions. You don't have to necessarily use it as an advent towel. We were talking about that earlier. You can mix and match the dies you already have. And I know you're a huge Anna Griffin fan, so if you have Anna Griffin dies, you're going to be able to make the facade of this house with those dies, I think. I'm pretty sure you can. Okay, Verify my little opening. Kind of move it around a little bit if you need to, just a tiny little bit. Okay, 3 more and we're in business with this part. And now, if you are a perfectionist, you may want to have all of your seams facing the same way. I really don't think it matters. It's not going to be visible, really, unless you were using some super kind of like shiny paper, maybe. But truly, I don't think that that's of any consequence whatsoever. Okay, 2 more. 2 more. Oh, I keep aiming at my paper. Old habits die hard. All right, that one's gonna go here. My hands are red from so much folding and burnishing. Okay, put that little guy there. I feel like I'm making a cake and I don't know why. Maybe it's because it's very similar to baking. Verify. Yep, I'm in business. Good to go. Okay. This one needed a little bit of glue on that one side, but I'm going to aim from the front here. And I'm just going to put my little needle nozzle in there because my glue dried a little bit fast. And then I'm good. All right, next one. Final little window. It's gonna go on my house. Da, da, da. And was I in frame at all? Is there a way to keep the door flap shut? Yes, actually. Hi, Miss Hallam. Absolutely. Use your low tack tape, and then that way you can definitely tack on the little doors. But I mean, they don't, you mean if you're giving this to a curious little one maybe who's gonna not be able to resist opening them? What I would say, you can, here's what I would do. Put a piece of tissue paper, you know what you use to create gifts with, or wrap gifts with. Put just a very 1 layer piece on the back of this, okay? And then put a little dot of glue on every single door, okay? So then that way when they're open, when they pull them open, it pulls the tissue paper as well. And that's one way that you can do that, okay? But this is good. Now let's go ahead and apply the other layers. And of course this is going to go on that one. So let's do the back. And I just kept this in a simple gray. I'm going to get my other glue because this tip is a bit fine for that. Oh, that's wonderful, Anne. Yeah, there's no rules, right? You just do whatever works for you. But I really think that that's a great way to go about it because it's thin enough, you know, obviously it's called tissue paper. It's thin enough that it's going to tear easily, but it's also an easy way to glue something down so that it stays put. And just gonna add this right on top. I'll line it up first. Now obviously on here, if you want to take out your mousse and color the edges, you can do that. As I said, if I was not short on time, then I would have totally done the whole Nuvo thing with this today, but kind of rushing here. All right, so that I'm gonna move that aside for a moment. And what we're going to do is on these side pieces, as I mentioned before, I have the card there. I'm going to layer my two sides first with the decorative paper. And this does come with a panel that's going to create a really beautiful decoration, by the way. I'm just going to keep it super simple for the moment. Off camera, I might go back and do a little zhuzhing of this box later with, you know, some shine, as I typically do. But this is what the side will look like if you add the decorative panel. And on there, of course, you can go to town, you can add drops in there, you can do your layering, all that good stuff. Is the video blurry? It could possibly be my connection, and I do apologize for that. That's why I've been careful about doing live videos because of it. So I'm really, really sorry. I think it's my connection. And I was home by myself when I started this video, so no one else was on the internet. I now have a teenager here and my husband, who's quite possibly working on his computer, so that could be putting some strain on it. Okay, so I'm gonna just fold my sides now and burnish. Oh, I'm so sorry. Miss Heffalump, to answer your question, when I ran it through, it cut like butter on, you know, for me. Now this piece here, the front, because it had these kinds of cuts, I did run it, I think it was 3 times. And what I do is I feed my plates in from different directions. You know, you can flip it over and all that good stuff. And that way the machine will be able to place pressure on different points of the die when you do that. So it won't cut on the first pass, but that's kind of to be expected because it is a thicker material. However, you should always have a craft knife, a nice sharp one, because if you need to finish anything off, that's going to be a super easy way to do it. And I always keep one in my room here, because whatever the machine can't do, I help it along. For sure. That's why I have kind of scrape marks on this mat too. Okay, now these are almost ready here. Just folding along those lines. Okay, now on the ones, well, all 4 of them, I'm going to now glue that gray board in the center here. And the reason I folded this first is because sometimes you have to cut it down a little bit, and this gives you kind of an opportunity to see if you need to do that or not. I think I'm good either way. I'm going to actually, let me see here. Let me see if I can cut this with a guillotine. If I can, then I'm gonna remove just a little hair. Let's see if I can. And I can. So I'm just removing a tiny little bit there. So this ends up measuring, by the way, 1 and 2, 4, 6, 1 7/8 inches wide is what it measures. And that'll be the perfect size. Of course, be careful if you're new to cutting thicker surfaces, and do not delegate this to anyone you love. I would never do that, just to let you know. Okay, there's that. Those are good to go. And now I can apply my glue to this and place my little layers of gray board on here. Okay, and that's going to fit perfectly. And the reason I did that, by the way, is so that I don't have anything competing with the folds, okay? That's kind of important if you're using this type of material, because if not, it's going to create a bulge in your project, and you don't want that. Place this down. And this would apply to any kind of box making that you do, or album making. It's, you know, if you have a fold in the paper, make sure your gray board or chipboard doesn't touch that fold. Then you'll be in business. Oh, hi, Louisa. So sorry. Did yours clear? Okay, so Louisa says hers cleared up. I have to move, guys. I need a new house. I'm gonna move into my little cardboard house so I get better internet. I live in the country and this is the price I pay. Oh my gosh. The cows are all on their iPhones outside, stealing my internet speed. And there's this little guy fitting in here nicely. There we go. Okay. All right, now I have to determine how these are going to face, because I discovered that not all tabs are equal. So I want to make sure that I have 2 tabs to face one piece. Okay, so this is going to be my bottom. I need to make sure there's a tab here. This one I can cut away, and then vice versa, a tab here. Yeah, tab here, and then I need to complete this with another tab. That's the one thing that's kind of iffy about this. And what I'm showing you here is that you're going to have one corner with no tabs. So what I'm going to do is create my own. That's what I did on the other project. And I'm just going to grab a random piece of paper. No one's ever going to see it. Actually, let me use the green. And I'm going to cut it to the width that I need, which is going to be yay wide, and that is 1 3/4 inches wide. Is that right? 1 3/4? Yep, always second guess. And then maybe 1 inch should be fine, because this is just going to be folded in half to create a hinge. So I'm going to cut or fold this piece of paper right in half and burnish it like that. We'll keep that ready. This is now going to wrap all the way around here. Okay, now you can decorate this with the little door thing before you start doing anything else. I suppose I'm just going to finish the back and then flip it over and start decorating, but whatever makes you happy. Let's do the sides. This is going to wrap just like a regular box, and you can do 1 by 1 if you want to. I think because this one's square, that's exactly how I'm going to do it. I'm going to just add the little tab. And if you want to decorate the back first, you can do that too. I'm going to aim at my little corners here. And all the way to the other end, just like that. Hope you guys can see what I'm doing here. Sometimes I'm not so sure. But then again, use that bone folder on that narrow edge to help you out. Apply a little bit of pressure on that. And you start on the side that you want to start on. I'm going to double check on the front here and make sure that's not too high up on that. especially in the corners. And then just kind of hold it till it dries. Okay, just gonna hold that there for 1 second. All right, now if you want to, you can actually do this first. But that depends on how comfortable you are with this sort of thing. I'm going to add my side here. So I'm going to apply my glue on the tab. I'm going to use that to meet up to the next one. Apply my glue here. And actually, I think I want this going top. I don't really have directional paper, but I do have some flowers on that one, so that's why I'm being a little bit finicky about the placement. But of course, that's the one thing that you're going to want to gauge is what does your paper look like? And then one side there. And I was thinking if you use other dyes, the other thing is that depending on the dye you use, you can change the shape of the little doors, and that would be super cute too. I'm gonna make sure these are meeting up on this corner. And now because that, that thin board is there, just be mindful of how that little seam is meeting. Okay, and then apply your pressure. Kind of have to be gentle with it. But this is a very, the glue will dry rather quickly on this type of surface if you've never used it before. And I'm referring to the board. It's like, you know, it's like cereal board. So in fact, if you don't have the Tonic Studios one, if you have some boxes laying around in your pantry, you can definitely just take those apart. See how they cut with your dyes. You may have to run them through more than once. I just wouldn't use anything too thin because then it might warp with humidity. Okay, got that side going. Can do the other side now. I'm gonna actually supplement this with a tiny bit more glue. I don't want that falling apart. Okay. It just takes a minute. Check your comments, see? Can you guys see me still? I hope I don't have to end the video. That would be a bummer. Okay, that's my other side. I'm going to do the bottom now. And you can do the glue, well, I would say on this, in this case, make sure you do put it on the tab. And I'm going to face it this way so that I have a tab on this side. And I'm going to put glue on this one. Okay. How did I have it? I forgot already. I think I did it. Yeah, I put the glue on the wrong side because I need it over here. It's okay. Just gonna wipe it off for a second. I do that all the time. And put my glue there. Okay. Now let's meet it up on the corner. And I do have to pull it toward me a little bit so I can see what I'm doing. But then I can set it back down. And make sure it's all the way to the edge. Oh, good. Thank you, Anne. I appreciate the feedback. Doing live videos, let me tell you, it's not for the faint of heart. Many of you do them. But every time I go live, I'm like, please, internet, work. Okay, I'm gonna pull this little guy over a little bit. It's kind of drifting on me a little bit there. Here we go. I want to really concentrate on those corners to make sure that I don't get a wonky house. Now, mind you, if you don't use gray board, this is going to be 10 times faster. The reason I say that is because paper has a little bit more give. So when you're pulling it together, it kind of, you have a little bit more leeway than when you're using the board. And it becomes a little bit easier to manipulate. Okay, but if it's not perfect, I'm just going to practice forgiveness and move on. All right, now I'm going to burnish. I think I'm happy with that. And close enough, close enough. Let it go and move on. All right, now, last tab. I mentioned this was sort of directional, so I think I'm good now. I have my tab. I had cut that extra tab thinking I needed it. I don't know what I did wrong with the other one, but I left myself without a tab on the other one. And it turns out I didn't have to worry at all. Okay. Now I'm going to place this one here. It becomes a bit more easy when all the other three are there. Last side, woohoo, home stretch. And I want to make sure that that edge meets the edge here. So just going to start walking that paper with my fingertip there. There we go. Almost done, almost done. All right, apply a little bit of pressure, just like I did before. Make sure my little corners are meeting. Okay, I think that looks good. And need to apply a little pressure here. Again, because that little board, you really need to hold on to it. Press it, there we go. All right, now we can do the back. And this is going to be a matter of laying it right on top, but you do want these little tabs to have some glue on them, just so that they can also glue to the back of your project. Might want to pull them up a little bit just to get them going. It's like frosting a cake. That's why I was thinking of cake earlier. This is, only it's not as, nowhere near as neat. All right, I'm gonna apply some glue now on the edge. And walk this right along. And on the top. Okay. Now, I'm gonna aim and fire here. So I'm gonna place my little corners first. This is gonna almost bring that in a little bit because mine is pulling away. Okay. And then grab the other two corners and just apply some pressure. Hello, Bonnie. I've been well, thank you so much for asking. How about yourself, sweetie? I've been not sleeping and crafting. If you really want to know what's happening, not sleeping at all and crafting. But having fun nonetheless. So apply pressure there. Might need to pull on it a tiny bit to make sure that you get that nice edge there, edge to edge. And if you're a hot glue fan, then by all means you can do that. I just stay away from the silicone adhesive as much as possible because it does leave a little bit of texture on paper that I'm not a fan of, but you do you. Whatever makes you happy with the glue situation. You know, everyone has their comfort level with different types of adhesive. Some people like to use, you know, the beacon or the hot glue, whatever. I like the Nuvo because it gives me an opportunity to fix my mistakes, and when it dries clear. So for instance here, I know I need to add a little bit more, so I'm just going to pull on that paper and add a little more because it dried a little bit faster than I wanted it to. But the other thing that I often suggest is, if you're new to paper crafting, first of all, there's no such thing as perfect. It's just, you know, what tools you have. The one that I use the most is the ugliest, and that's my rubber eraser. So when I get my hands all sticky like this and I get glue everywhere where I didn't want it and all that, when I'm done with my project, or off camera, I take my little eraser and I just go over my project and I get rid of all those little nasty bits that were on there. And sometimes it has to, you know, really be worked on, but it's a wonderful tool and I highly recommend it. And you can even get that at the dollar store. You don't need to spend a lot of money on some of the best tools out there. Voila, my box foundation is ready to go. Let's decorate. I'm gonna leave it as is. Yes, I don't know, I really love this glue. That's all I can say about that. I love it. Okay, so now I'm going to put my pretty paper on top. I guess I didn't need to cover this. You're gonna see one little corner is kind of but that's the best I can do at the moment. I'll apply my little glue all the way around here. And then what I'm going to do, as far as the little doors are concerned, put this here. And I'm sorry for the kitty cat. He had no place in this project. I had this paper, it had so much green in it, and I loved it because I figured, you know what, that's Christmassy enough. So what I did is I pretended there were no cats and butterflies on that paper and used it anyway. So this is what I'm doing, just not worrying about the glue placement by putting it exactly on the inside of the door pieces here. Okay, and then that way when I go to place this one down, I'm a little bit more, have a little more assurance that it's going to go in the right place. Now I'm going to make sure these are right at the corner there. Make sure all those little points are perfect if you can, as much as possible, and of course the dies help you with that. My little bottom edge is not the prettiest you're ever going to see, but I can mask that with some embellishment. Okay, and now I'm going to go to town burnishing, not to ruin my own project, and make sure those are meeting up being a little bit gentle here because I don't want to cave in those little doors, but you can also open them, make sure that they're meeting nicely. Now you see how some of my little drawers are not absolutely perfect? You can take your time and make sure that they're, you know, facing the right way and all that good stuff. I'm using this purely for decorative purposes, so I'm not too worried about that. If I was going to give it as a gift, then I would have been, you know, obviously not do it on a live video. So that way I could really take my time. But here I'm just gonna practice opening these as that paper dries. And as you notice, I'm burnishing the fold line, and that's to make sure that that paper glues nicely there, and that way it doesn't curl up. And over here I have a little corner that needs help, so I can just retouch that. All right. Now, if, let's just say, you know, you're not too 100% happy with how it looks, like you have a little edge that overlaps like that, you can definitely mask that with the glitter glue, or sorry, the Nuvo glitter drops, or any other kind of drops. But that's the gist of how you make the front of that, and the rest is purely decorative. I did cut out some panels, and I have them here. I went ahead and used that satin card. I thought it was so pretty, and then I used the same gray paper that I use on my base. That's what I use for my top layer. So now I can just put these right on top, and my little house will be nicely decorated. And of course you can use all of the shiny papers now. You can do a lot of layering if that's what you like. Grabbing my tweezers because that's going to help me out. You can make these pop out even more if you would like to use dimensional adhesive. You can put them on the front with maybe a little bit of an item popping out. Now this sort of thing here, what I do, wrong one, is I add a little drop of adhesive there, just to kind of tack it down a little bit. And that's going to dry clear. So I don't want to touch it too much, but I'm not going to panic if I see the glue while it's still wet. Put that one here. It's the little door. And then so on and so forth. Now there is a little wreath you can cut out, which I think is so adorable. That's the little wreath there. And actually I was holding it upside down. My apologies. Now you can back that up with another piece of paper if you want, or you can just use it as is. I do think there's a little piece here that's left behind that needs to pop out. There we go. I'm gonna place mine right on the front door. It's gonna give it that little touch of shine. And each one of these is a different design. I did that on purpose to show you how many you can use, and there's still more, by the way. But as I lay these on here, you're going to see how many designs you can place on your little house, which I think is really cool that there are so many options. Because if there's a particular theme, for instance, of the paper that you prefer, maybe the straight lines are not going to work for you. Maybe you need something a little more frilly. Well, then they have an option for that. And I think that's what I love about Tonic, is that they cover quite a bit of ground when it comes to design. I think it's pretty phenomenal. And they all fit perfectly. This one has little strings of ornaments, or little ornaments that kind of just hang. And of course I can go back now and add a little bit of Nuvo Drop to color those. And each little ornament can be a different color, or I can do them all in like a metallic. And to me, this is the fun part. This one here has little stripes. The first one, by the way, was just little squares. So let me do it like, you know, hold it like this. This one has little stripes, so if you're into candy canes, you can do it in red and white or red and green, however you like. So you could do a whole candy cane theme advent calendar and only use the stripe one. That would look super cute. Hey, I'm almost done. My baby boy needs his mama. All right, so this one has the little stars, very similar, by the way, to the tree here. So if you want to know what it really looks like, it's like this. It's just that I used a matte paper, so it's hardly visible there. But of course, you can go ahead and apply some Nuvo Mousse to that. It's going to make it pop out. And the other one, this one here, let me put this one on, has a little Christmas tree, super cute. Now what I can do is go back and cut all of these all over again in a gold, which I might just do that, and I'm referring to that decorative panel, then place it on top of these and just stagger it by moving it over a tiny bit, and that's going to give me a little bit more depth, and I love that look. I'm going to grab my little door here and just pinch that on there. So the mirror card will slip a tiny bit, so you gotta kind of be careful when it's wet. Apply that one there. This one has a string of lights. Super cute. So as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, if you could scroll to the top of the chat, click on one of my links, I would truly appreciate it. Even if you don't do absolutely any shopping today, that's okay. It would show my channel some support, and I would appreciate that so much. Although I do appreciate you guys just being here, absolutely. So you don't, not that you have to, but I would love it if you did. This one has almost like a little window pane effect. I think it's so cute. And that one's gonna go here. So as you can see, there's so many options, and I mentioned there are still more. So I'm gonna show you on the other one, because I think I used different ones on the smaller house. Pull that open. Make sure that's nice and centered. Okay. There's also the little star that you can use for the top of your little tree. You can cut off the little stem that they put on there, and that can go on your little house. However you wish to decorate that. I think I'm missing a little green panel, am I? I think I am. I don't know what I did with it. I have all these other ones. Anyway, there's little Christmas lights. So let's just think about the lights for a second. There's these little Christmas lights you can put all over your the front or the side, however you choose to do it. And I do have several more of those around here. There are also these adorable little strips that you can cut out using another one of the dies, and that can go all the way around the side of your house. I think that'll be super cute. And some of these fell out, some of them are still there. I'm just gonna leave it as, you know, the ones that stayed behind are just gonna stay there. I think it adds a whimsical touch. And of course, you can fill in the little openings if you want to with Nuvo Drops. Or add a little bit of glue in there and then toss some glitter right on top. And I'm gonna aim at that corner and bring it all the way down, just very gently. This is gonna cover up all those silly little mistakes. Okay, now this is mirror card, so I'm being very careful. Let me move over so you guys can actually see what I'm doing. Hi, Rosh. Thank you for coming back. And my apologies that that other video just went crazy. I enjoy doing the live videos, but if they're so horrendous when they upload that no one can actually see it, I take them down. I've had to do that more than once, and that's not because of any reason other than the fact that my internet connection is not the best. I've shared that before. And I don't want anyone to click on one of my videos and not actually be able to even follow along. But I often re-release them, you know, edited, cleaned up, or whatever, just a brand new version of it. But I do appreciate those of you who join me in my live videos. It's a lot of fun. We get to ask each other questions, you know, keep in touch that way as well. So I'm going to aim again at that little corner. Use my tweezers to my advantage. Press it down. Just like that. I am going to fix the lights, by the way. I'm not just going to leave that. I'm not just going to leave that crazy willy-nilly like that. Okay, there is a top portion to this, and I thought I had cut it out. You can tell that I've not slept because I thought I had that all cut out and ready to go. And I probably do. Let me check really quickly. It appears that I do not. So let's do that because there is a really pretty portion to this and I thought I had it ready to go. So I think I'm going to be able to use, I'm going to take a peek here and see which I can use to make it more easy or easier. And here it is. Okay, yeah, I can use my little bitty machine, so that's a bonus, and I think I'm going to use mirror card for the top of that too. So let's see here. Could have sworn I had cut that out. I must have dreamt it. So let me just cut this, and I hope this can fit in here. Let's see if it does. Oh, look at those pretty trees. I always feel bad getting rid of all this. I feel like I'm doing something bad and naughty because it's shiny paper. Why is that? All right, let's cut this out. And this is, I could have sworn I cut this already. I know I'm going to find it when I end the live video. I'm going to be like, oh, there it was all along. But I'll have to just use it on a different project. And here's my tape. Run that through. I'm going to cut a second one out of decorative paper. Or no, I think I'm going to use gold. So it could be kind of, oh, I almost didn't get that right. I'm going to place this right on here. So these are the kinds of dies you do not want to run both at the same time, because if heaven forbid they overlap, you're going to be very sorry because you won't be able to get that die over again and all that good stuff. So resist the urge to run 2 dies at a time through your machine. I'm trying to center this and use my little tape there. Okay, come on, baby. It's gonna have to be good enough. Here we go. Yes, we are like, absolutely, little magpies we are. I'm like, ooh, shiny, shiny. All right, now another little tip. If you are crazy like me, you're gonna save these little squares and use them alternating on your design and glue them every other one on there. So I will scoop them up with my little spatula and save them for later. That's how crazy I am. Believe you me, I will use them. Just not in a live video, but I will use them. Now, oh wait, I said I was gonna cut it again out of gold. It's gonna go behind that one. And I do have my gold paper right here. Ready to go. And this is gonna be so pretty. So this is where I'm adding that special touch. So not too much, just enough gold there to, you know, catch the eye, catch your attention, makes it pretty. Okay. And there's the little partner. It's going to go behind that one. There's also a little piece you can put on top. So let me grab that. Okay. And what I would like to do is that I'm actually going to, now you can put it on top of this or you can cut into it. This cuts out a little Christmas tree. So I'm actually just going to cut into it. But it does come with a little circle, so that way you can use 2 dies and then create an embellishment. I think I'm going to take the easy route and just run this through with this in the middle. Just making sure that the tree obviously is facing the right direction. That's the one thing you want to be mindful of. All right, so I'm just going to tack that down. Be very careful when I place this in my machine so that it doesn't shift. And I'm going to run it slow. There we go. And then back and forth, and I should be good to go with that. Now, if you're running a bigger piece of mirror card, I do suggest you take kind of like a scrap piece of copy paper and place it on top. That way your machine doesn't leave little indentations in it. Because we all get those little bits and pieces that leave grooves in the machine, or the plates, I should say. So I'm just going to clean this out real quick. Not saving those. And if you have a pokey tool, that'll come in handy. I've got all the things laying on my table right now. All of them. All right. This has tiny little details here, but I'm going to show you what that looks like. It's so pretty. And you may have seen the other samples already. But like I say, it's really nice to kind of get that zoom in close-up look. Okay. Yeah, so your mom's like me. Save all the little bits and pieces. They come in handy. I'm so surprised at how many times I reach over. I have a little dish on my table. I reach into that dish and grab one tiny little piece of paper and go, you know, this is why I save them. This is why. Not that anyone's accusing me of, you know, like, why did you throw that out? No one cares. But in my head, I'm like, don't be wasteful. Save the papers. Okay, I'm just going to apply a little bit of glue around the little circle here. And of course, this is the needle nose tip that you can get. It's not currently available, it's sold out, but as soon as they get that in, if you don't have it and you like this type of craft, they come in handy. And if you can't wait, it's like I was telling a friend this morning, go on Amazon, get a quilling bottle and get yourself that tip. And you might have to, you know, place your glue inside of the tinier bottle, but they come in handy. Now, this is mirror card, so it's going to show every tiny little defect of glue It's going to dry clear, but if I get glue where I don't like it, I just go back in and I add some glitter drops or whatever. And there's that little tree in the center. That's what I wanted to show you guys. It's super highly reflective, of course, but I think it's just the perfect touch to muted paper to go ahead and then place that on top as the feature that's going to stand out in this project. And even though I did use different colors of green, I think it works just perfectly, because no rule says you can't mix and match. And let me grab my little pokey tool again, because I do have one little piece of paper that was left behind there. And I'm gonna peel that right off. There we go. All right. So of course the other option here, and I'm still missing the one little guy there. The other option here is to use the dies that come in your set, and I'll be doing that off camera. Use the dies in your set to place the numbers on here. Now I haven't quite decided how this is going to be placed on my mantle, so that's why I haven't placed the numbers on there yet. But of course it's going to match its little friend here, and I'm going to continue on with the little lights and all that good stuff, the little star. That's going to go right there actually. So I'm going to go ahead and place that now. And I need my tweezers. But this has been a lot of fun. I hope that it has been helpful to someone, anyone. Let me see here. I want it to be like this. I'm going to make sure it's centered though. There you go. And then I think I'm gonna finish off the rest of this with little lights up top here and all that good stuff. However, this has been a long video and I have to be mindful of my back, so that's why I have to end the video. But isn't that cute? I think they're so adorable. Thank you, Mama Pillow. Thank you so much. And of course you can do the little bells. That's what I had done here. So just a quick recap. You can apply little, tidbits that you have in your stash already. You can definitely, fill it with little goodies like that. That's what I had shown in the other video. I put little bells in there just to show, if you're doing a swap, maybe a Christmas theme swap, you could do it like that and just present all of the little embellishments inside. That would be super cute. But of course, go to town with the items that you like. You can keep it clean and simple just like this. There's absolutely nothing wrong with just using the papers that you love. And of course my little angel needs a little reinforcement there. But as I explained before, you can make the little ornaments out of it, or you can go to town with all the shine and just douse it with everything you have. It's whatever, it's meant to be fun. Whatever you like. Oh, thank you, Regina. No worries. Gemma says, hi all, just found this live as I'm putting my tiny gold cutout waste into a tub to save in case any of them. Ah, that's so funny. Oh my gosh. No such thing as a coincidence, right? Yes, we're all guilty. Guilty, guilty. And then of course, I had mentioned this and some of you guys were not here when I did so. If you happen to pick up this set, you can use all those tiny little bits and pieces and put those on here, okay? And another reason I'm selfishly keeping the decoration to another time, because I think I might just do that and add, a little more whimsy and delicate touches that take me quite a bit of time because of the way that I craft, and I don't want to keep it, don't want to torture anyone. But by all means, use whatever you have. For instance, this little border here that this set cuts, you can cut that into a strip. That's what I did here, and I cut it out of pearlescent paper. So you could, if that's the look you want a little more shabbiness that's delicate, then by all means you can cut that out multiple times and use it as a scalloped edge on your project, or give it that kind of lacy look with any other dyes that you might have in your stash. But this has been a lot of fun, and thank you so much. Oh, Gemma, I'm so sorry. If it were up to me, I'd stay, but I've been here for, let's see here, 2 hours? No, almost 3. I have to go. Oh gosh. But yeah, we put this together today, and if you get it and make a project, please, please let me know. I would love to come along and see it, and you know, I like supporting other crafters as well, of course, so I would love to see what you make and, you know, leave you a hello and, you know, kiss and a hug and all that good stuff too. Oh, wonderful, Regina. I look forward to seeing what you put in the group then. Yes. So absolutely, make sure you tune in tomorrow morning if you're able to. 7 a.m. will be the last live video from Tonic for the birthday week. There's going to be giveaways, of course, that you can enter. Feel free to click on one of my links, and that way you can go right to the store and enter now, so you can be part of that. And as I always say, I hope that you can be inspired and be blessed, and thank you so much for having joined me today. I'll see some of you tomorrow. Thank you. Oh, I'm so sorry, Gemma. Yeah, YouTube is tricky like that, but I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Ciao, ciao. Have a wonderful evening or afternoon. Bye. Sorry for the noise.